Hello, friends, and welcome back to Living Divinely. I am so happy that you all are joining me in this space today and just happy to be back on this platform and sharing space with y'all. It feels really, really good. Yeah, I feel like I had to take a break. I needed a break. I needed to recalibrate and come back and just really make sure that I fully understood what I was working toward, what I was trying to accomplish. And I think that I've just been heavy in this healing and transitional phase in life. And now that I've really figured things out, I just feel like everything within my life should be a reflection of what I've figured out and shifted. And I feel like living divinely is a big part of what needed to shift in order to be in alignment with who I am and where I am at this very moment. So, yeah, I'm excited. Welcome back. One of the big things throughout my process of just figuring it all out was my struggle with being confident in what I've built, who I am, and the presence that I have established online. I am someone who does not shy away with sharing my evolution, whether it be my personal evolution, things that I'm growing or healing through, how I'm evolving, how my brand is evolving. I just don't I hide those things. I feel like they're such an important part of my process. But I would definitely be lying if I say that each time that I grow through a period of transition and healing, there's a big part of me that struggles with confidence because I always have that question like, okay, this has shifted, this has changed, this is going to look a little bit different. I may sound a little bit different. Like, sometimes I question my ability to get out there and present myself in this new way. Are people still going to enjoy it? Are people still going to appreciate it? Am I going to come off as an imposter? All these questions arise. And something that continues to come up for me is just thinking about how much it affects us when confidence isn't something that is instilled in you from day one. What do you do when confidence isn't something that is instilled in you growing up? What do you do when instead of being taught to trust yourself, you are taught to question everything about yourself? When self doubt became your default, and now as an adult, you are left trying to unlearn these habits and rebuild. Here is what I've learned about the confidence journey, and something that I am actively still learning. And that is, confidence isn't something that you are gifted with. Confidence is something that is built. It is something that you absolutely have to fight for. And if you want to show up in this world being your full, most authentic self, whether that is in your personal life or being the face of your own personal brand, you have to be willing to fight for your confidence. So let's unpack confidence and why confidence building in adulthood feels like such a struggle, such a hard uphill battle. It could be a multitude of things for everyone, and it's not the same. The confidence journey is going to look different for all of us, but I would love to share what I feel has been the most difficult for me over the years and what I've recognized in others, primarily the clients that I work with. So, the first thing is just lack of early affirmation. And for a lot of people, confidence wasn't something that was nurtured in childhood. Maybe you grew up in an environment where perfection was expected and mistakes were met with a lot of criticism instead of encouragement. Or maybe you were someone who was constantly compared to others. You were compared to your classmates, to your siblings, your cousins. So instead of you being able to develop a solid sense of self, you learned to measure your worth by external standards. I also think there were a lot of us who were just raised by parents that were constantly in flight or fight mode. And for them, being young parents who were learning still or operating based on what they were taught from the generations before them, those weren't always the best examples or the best practices to raise up a child while still having the clarity and confidence that was needed to instill and reinforce confidence in someone else that they were raising. When confidence isn't instilled in you early on, you absolutely do not just wake up one day and have it. It is something that you have to rewire your brain and work for. The second thing is unlearning limited beliefs. If you are someone that has been conditioned to consistently doubt yourself, it takes a lot of intentional effort to unlearn not to doubt yourself. If you fall within that bucket, I want you to take a moment and think about how often you have held yourself back from a certain opportunity because you didn't feel like you were ready. You didn't feel like you had the skills or the talent that you needed to succeed. Or how often have you dismissed your own intuition or your own voice because you assumed that someone else had a better answer than you? A lot of the world is fighting against years and years, and in some cases, decades of conditioning and being told that they are not enough. The third thing is just that pressure to have it all together. Society expects us as adults to just know things, and that is an unrealistic expectation. No one really teaches you how to be this way, and yet it is absolutely expected of us. You are just supposed to be able to figure it out and have all of the right answers. And think about how difficult that pressure is to live with someone who wasn't taught. And when you didn't grow up with a strong foundation of self-trust, adulthood can absolutely make you feel like there's this constant game of catching up, being as good or better than the next person. Like you're always on this path to try and fake it until you make it. But deep down, like you're still just that kid that is absolutely terrified of doing something wrong or getting it wrong. Another thing that I don't really appreciate about society today is it almost makes you feel like, oh, I've gone X amount of years of my life without this one thing or without knowing how to do this. And so it's too late to figure it out. It's too late to grow. It's too late to heal. It's too late to go back to school. Like there's all these time steps and limitations on what can or cannot be done. And I hate that. If you are someone who feels like you've struggled with confidence all of your life, it is never too late to work to rebuild that. It's never too late to shift that. All it requires is you learning the how. How do we work on shifting this? How do we fight for confidence and start owning our presence, our voice, our decisions? How do we do it? I am going to share with you all today a few things that have helped me on my journey, and I hope that will be of a great resource for all of you as well. The first thing sounds challenging, it sounds crazy, but reparenting yourself. This is a huge one. Reparenting is really about giving yourself the space to create the things or do the things for yourself that you did not receive while growing up. If you weren't encouraged to take up space, to be bold, relentless, you have to encourage yourself to do and be all those things in this phase of your life. If you were not taught to trust your instincts, trust your intuition, you have to learn to teach yourself to trust in yourself. Start speaking to yourself in the ways that you wish an older version of you had spoken to you when you were younger. Start affirming yourself. Start acknowledging your growth and give yourself the grace that you weren't given growing up. The second thing is exposure. You can't really adapt or pick up certain things, live a certain way, or be a certain way if you aren't exposed to those things on a consistent basis. Confidence isn't something that is built being who you've always been. You are not going to build confidence being in your comfort zone. Confidence building comes from doing things that absolutely terrify you, the things that scare you, the things that are going to stretch you. One of my best recommendations that I could give you in this process is just starting small. A lot of people think the best way to do it is you have to go all in, you have to do it big. And sometimes when you force yourself and you take on this big task, you overwhelm yourself. You burn yourself out. So start small. You can start with doing things like speaking up in meetings, standing up for people that you see are being wrong. Post that creative project that you've been sitting on and thinking about and overthinking. Start the blog, start the YouTube, start the podcast. Set a boundary in your relationships. Something, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, do it. Every time you push yourself beyond your fears, you prove to yourself that you are capable. And that proof is what helps you to build confidence. The third thing is building and celebrating the small wins. This is so important because one of the best ways to build confidence is through momentum. The big build up is what I like to call it. If you are someone who struggles to believe in yourself, focus on the small achievable wins. Maybe that's you finally sticking to a morning routine, sticking to or committing to a daily workout, finishing that project that you've been working on, writing that book, finally doing that one thing that you have been putting off forever and it took you 15 minutes to do it. Confidence doesn't just come from giant leaps and big wins. Confidence is also built through the small wins, stacking those small victories until they become and create this greater foundation that is strong enough for you to stand on. Another thing that worked well for me is just learning to affirm your own voice. This was a challenge for me, obviously, because I'm public facing. I have a platform, and it was really important for me to learn how to do this. Have you ever noticed how easy it is for you to trust someone else's opinion over your own? I have had to learn to tell myself and others when they ask, you're asking me, but you already have the answer. If you have to outsource the answer, you already know the answer. You already know whatever it is that you were asking me. You just want approval. You want someone to affirm you when really you don't need no affirmation at all. You know what it is. If someone was to come in and question your idea, you are probably someone that immediately assumes that they're right and you're wrong. But why is that? That is absolutely a confidence wound. Part of building confidence is you learning to trust your own voice, learning to go with your own instincts, trusting your thoughts. You do not need permission to believe in yourself. Finally, is learning to let go of external validation. This one has been incredibly hard over the years, but kind of like what I just touched on. Confidence can't be built on how others see you. Absolutely cannot be built on other people's approval. It has to be rooted in how you see yourself. If you are constantly looking for outside validation, you are always going to feel like you're chasing something that is unattainable. Real confidence comes from knowing deep down within that you are enough. Whether your friends, your family, your boss, your partner, whoever, whether the world affirms you or not, confidence comes from knowing that you are not. What I won't sit up here and do is lie and pretend like confidence is something that I've mastered. It is still something that I actively have to work on every single day. It's not like you just wake up and confidence happens overnight, especially if you are someone who has struggled with it for a very long time and you weren't raised to believe in yourself. It takes even more work and time to rewrite your story. This is what I want you to remember throughout your process, though. Confidence isn't just about how you feel. It is absolutely also about how you choose to show up. It's about making the right decisions and doing so over and over and over again until you trust yourself. My confidence wound has a lot to do with environment, yes, but it also has a lot to do with the fact that I was bullied a lot growing up. I spent a lot of my younger years dumbing myself down and wanting to look a certain way, present myself a certain way so that I could avoid being picked on. I did not want to draw attention to me, but there was at one point where I realized it don't matter what you do. they are still not going to like you. They are still going to pick on you. They are still going to find a reason. And it took a lot for me to embrace and accept that I had let the lack of confidence in others be the reason why I questioned myself. If you want to build something meaningful, whether that be relationship, a beautiful life, a personal brand, a business, or just you choosing to be a more authentic version of yourself, you have to start with confidence. You have to release the idea that you owe anybody anything. Release the idea that you have to be less than yourself or dumb yourself down to soothe others. I just want to remind all of you that the world responds to the energy that you put out. If you do not believe in yourself, expecting anyone else to believe in you is going to be hard. If you do not believe in yourself, expecting to attract beautiful things, the things that are meant for you, is going to be hard because you are carrying around every day as if you don't deserve it, because you don't believe that you deserve it. You absolutely have to believe in yourself. You have to up your confidence so that you know what's for you is for you. What's for you has been written, and nobody can question that. I want you to think about one area of your life where self-doubt has been holding you back. Maybe it is in your creative work. Maybe it's in your professional life or your career, your personal relationships that you can't build because you are lacking confidence, but you want to build relationship. You want community, but you don't have the confidence. Or maybe it's just simply how you choose to advocate for yourself. Whatever it is, I want you to start taking a small action today that helps you to shift that. Show up for yourself. Speak up. Choose yourself, because confidence is not something that you can wait for. You have to go out and you have to grab it. You have to go out and you have to build it. And that's a wrap. That's our episode. I want to thank you all so much for being here today and allowing Living Divinely to be a part of your journey. If today's episode resonated with you and you enjoyed it, I would love for you to share it with someone else who is also on their journey to becoming. You can follow the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can also join in on the conversation on Instagram and TikTok at Living Divinely, because yes, I'm always yapping on there. And yes, I'm going to be recapping all of the episodes on there. So please do join me. And until next time, stay rooted in your truth and refined by your own design.